Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Alright, so in this video I'm going to be talking about my most favorite champion in League of Legends, and his name is Jhin. Alright, so Jhin is, like you heard, one of my most favorite champions in League of Legends. So I'm really happy to do a guide on him. I've been playing him a lot more recently, and I'm almost mastery level 7, but you know, essence. Anyways, so let's get right into this guide. Alright, let's talk about Jhin's first trading combo. His first trading combo is usually just a Q then an auto attack. But his stronger trading combo is when he has 4th shot prepped and he walks up, Qs, goes for the 4th shot, does the W, and then trades it right into an ult. I wouldn't regularly go into the ult because again, there is always a follow-up for the enemy support CC, and that could just totally destroy your ultimate. So only for a finisher, if they're both low, go for an ultimate. And if you don't see the jungler coming up on you on the side, because that could also ruin you. Alright, so the next part of, I would say, Jhin's third combo, because Jhin really only has 3 combos. He doesn't have very many combos, he's just a really death in a few shots type of guy, like what they designed him to be. So one of the combos that I use for Jhin is going E behind myself, and then when it's triggered I W the enemy into them, so I get a movement speed boost to get out. The next sort of variation of this combo would be putting the E trap on top of yourself for enemies that can jump to you, like Lee Sin or Nocturne. This way, when they get onto you, the trap is activated, take a few steps back, and then W them into the trap. Let's talk about the items that I use on Jhin to help me succeed in games in Season 6. Season 7 items are going to be a little bit different. Alright, so items on Jhin. The first item that I usually get is Youmuu's Ghost Blade, because the movement speed in fights helps you dodge a whole ton of abilities. Plus, I can use Youmuu's Ghostblade movement speed to get back to lane. And not only that, if you activate Youmuu's Ghostblade in fights, you will be doing more damage because the attack speed scales as AD. The next item I'm gonna get as Jhin would be Boots of Swiftness, because you always need the extra movement speed as Jhin. Or I'll get Berserker's Greaves for the extra AD that it gives you off of the attack speed. Next item after that is going to be either IE or Lord Dominic's Regards. If you get IE, you usually want to get it for squishies to burst them straight out of the game. But if there's a whole ton of tanks, it's not going to be the best item because you're not going to do a lot of damage to them. That's why you want to get Lord Dominic's Regards instead if there's a whole ton of tanks. The next item after that is Rapid Fire Cannon or a Mercurial Scimitar. You get Merc if there's a whole ton of CC, and if there's actually no CC, there's no point for Mercurial Scimitar, so just go straight for a Rapid Fire Cannon. The next items are going to be either a Sterox Gauge or a Maw of Immortalis. These items help for keeping you alive in teamfights. Maw of Immortalis for AP burst and Sterox Gauge for AD burst, like Zed and Nocturne. The last item can either be a crit item like Phantom Dancer, or if you're just getting destroyed by the enemy team, then you want to get a Guardian Angel so that you can revive and your team can then save you. In Season 7, you're not going to want to build a Youmuu's Ghostblade on Jhin, for the reason of they're taking away the attack speed, which will no longer give you the AD, you'll only get a movement speed boost from it. Plus the lethality stat isn't as good as Armor Pen, so you're not going to want to get Armor Pen Jhin anymore. The item I would replace it with would be an IE first item, then a Rapid Fire Cannon as your third item. This is the full build for Jhin in Season 7 that I would personally use. This is the original crit build, and I really enjoy crit Jhin. I got really high AD with this build, plus this was the build I used to get my first pentakill. Now I'm going to explain to you some of the options that I've given you in this build. First, Sterox Gauge versus Maw of Immortalis. Sterox Gauge is versus high AD, and Mob Immortalis is for high AP burst. Next is Bloodthirster over Lord Dominix. Lord Dominix for tanks. Bloodthirster is the common item you go. And of course, the Phantom Dancer versus the Guardian Angel. Phantom Dancer if you're fed, Guardian Angel if you're dying a lot. Alright, that concludes Jhin's items. Now, let's talk about his team fights. Team fighting with Jhin is pretty hard, especially because assassins can just walk behind you while you're ulting mid-team fight and just stop your ult and totally deny all your damage, which is the most annoying thing ever. So what I do to counter this is I put an E-trap below myself to slow them as soon as they jump on me. This way it gives my team time to come help me. Now, when you're midway into a team fight, what you're going to be wanting to do is be in the same amount of range as you would be with a regular AD carry, but the difference between you and like a Caitlyn, we can say, is that when you run out of your bullets, you're going to want to use that movement speed to just walk around and dodge all the skill shots just in case, and not be in auto attack range at this point while you're reloading. This makes it so that the enemy team can't jump on you in your weakest point. Another thing you're going to want to note is that you can place your E-traps directly in the middle of team fights. This helps with if the enemy team is really grouped up and you're still team fighting, and let's say a Malphite ult comes in from your team, you just put an E-trap right where they're knocked up, it'll slow them, and plus if they stay in there long enough, like if you have a high amount of chain CC on top of the Malphite, you can deal a whole ton of damage. And if you end up killing someone with your E-trap, it makes more E-traps for the people that have died there. So it's chain reaction demolition. It's crazy. Alright, so let's talk about some of the counters Jhin has in lane. The first counter is going to be Draven. Draven, because Draven can play really aggressive to you, especially when you don't have fourth shot and you're reloading. The next counter is Lucian, because Lucian can just burst you down so hard as soon as you start to reload. He'll just dash right up to you and melt your face off. The next counter is going to be a support. The support is Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank, because he could just walk up to you, pull you, and you have nothing you can do. The enemy AD carry will just one-shot you. The next support that counters Jhin is Braum. Braum, because he can totally nullify your fourth shot. The last lane counter to Jhin is going to be Twitch. Twitch is one of the hardest lane matchups I have ever faced. The reason why? Because Twitch is so much like an assassin that Jhin just cannot handle him. The invisibility is so hard to predict. Even if you buy pink wards, he's still gonna out DPS you from his attack speed and the damage he has with the attack speed. Now that I've told you all of Jhin's counters, I'm gonna tell you how to beat them. All you have to do to counter Draven is run away from him when you're reloading and poke him as often as you can. The only thing you have to do to counter Lucian is play defensive in lane and tell your support to only use CC when Lucian dives you. For countering Blitzcrank, all you need to do is, as soon as he uses W to run at you, walk up to the enemy ADC with your support and kill the enemy ADC. The only way I've found that I can counter Braum is by waiting out his unbreakable. You just hold your fourth shot until it ends. The only way I've actually found how to counter Twitch is just by banning him. There is no way you're going to counter Twitch with Jhin. It is just impossible. Alright, now that we're done talking about his counters and how to counter his counters, let's talk about his skill order. The first ability that you max is Q. The second ability, W. The third ability, R whenever you can get it, and the fourth ability, E. Thank you so very much guys for watching. I really hope this guide helped.